transition.
How long do you think you can last?
As long as we choose to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel pressure on you that you've got to come up with, you know, hit singles?
No, I feel a pressure, an eternal pressure in that unless I make music that is worthwhile, then it's a waste of everybody's time. Yeah, things are kind of different for us. We have to be a little more careful about what we do, and you know, we don't have the kind of budgets that we used to have to play around with, and we've got to be a lot more caring in what we do.
Yeah.
So
have you got through a lot of money then, yourself? I bet you have.
Yeah, of course, because it was made available to us, and if it's made available to us, you'll spend it.
Yeah. So you have, I mean, so Duran Duran is not that you're not all multimillionaires.
Oh, we're adequately wealthy.
You're right.
Yeah.
If you never worked again,
I'd be in trouble in about 5 years' time.
Really?
Of course.
Mm. Yeah. So, well, that's actually quite good, isn't it? 'Cause it means you've got to get on with it. And
yeah.
You can't
yeah,
sort of sit
like
back.
anybody. I mean, we all have our levels of expenditure.
Yeah.
And resources and blah, 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 blah. I mean, I'm in a position where I don't have any responsibilities for anybody other than myself. I'm sure if I had a wife and children, I'd feel a greater responsibility. I can be a little more fickle. But nonetheless, I like what I've got. I've been lucky to have been given a lot for what I've done. And yeah, I'd like to keep it if possible.
Yes. All the rest of them kind of got married some years ago. You're the only one that hasn't.
Well, I was, but now there's 5 of us. It's the unmarrieds are in the majority again.
Oh, I see.
So that's okay.
Do you think that'll affect the music?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know in what way it'll affect it, but it's kind of harder to get Simon to write songs about girls these days.
Well, other than Yasmin, I suppose.
Yeah.
Actually, talking
I mean,
about...
who'd want to write songs about anybody other than Yasmin? That's what he says to me.
What would you most like to write a song about?
Well, I'm still into sexual perversity. I think that's what most rock songs should be written about.
I thought Skin Trade was excellent. It didn't do as well as I'd hoped.
No, but I'm glad it did what it did, because it finally gave the critics a record that they could say they liked. You know, because it stepped out of the chart. You know, it wasn't a chart hit. So and you know, critics and hits. So it was kind of nice that finally we had a record that, when it came to the year-end roundup of favourite songs, it was in a lot of people.
How do you and Simon and Nick get on now? I mean, you've been together, well,
famously.
Decade.
Yeah. Well, me and Nick have been together for nearly 20 years.
What?
Yeah, we were 11, I think I was when I met Nick. So, yeah, I mean, they're the only 2 people I can relate to on a constant, on every level.
And there must have been a lot of rivalry, and I will not believe if you say there wasn't.
Oh, incredible.
In a band of, like, really, stunning guys, weren't you all, wasn't there...
Well, it was, yeah, I mean, politics is really what's responsible for breaking up most groups.
So how did you resolve it then?
I went away and made music with other people and found out, actually, that they were bigger pains in the ass than the guys in Duran.
You're presumably talking about Power Station partly.
Yeah.
When we talked to Robert De Palma on One to One, and I asked him why he had not taken part in Live Aid, he said, "Next question." Oh, what's the answer?
What's the answer? I don't know. I think he felt that... I mean, I was very... me and Andy were like the bulldozers of the project, really. And Robert is not really a mover. And that was why he was in the position that he was. He was making terrific records, but nobody was really noticing them, not on a grand scale. And he was perfectly happy just to, come into Blake's once every 12 months and stay there for a couple of weeks and, have a nice time. And we really wanted to, we were used to this mammoth machine. And, I mean, the album was an incredible thing to make, the Power Station album. It just made itself, and it was an incredible chemistry, and it created a sound that I really was quite proud of having made, actually. And then we did want to take the thing out, and Robert did too, I think. But you know, me and Andy wanted it done our way, and I think Robert and his manager kind of felt it was our own faults, really. I'm glad it happened that way, because I probably wouldn't have gone back to Duran. I mean, I don't know how much of a statement it really was against. I wasn't really happy with the Seven and the Ragged Tiger album, but it was my own fault, really. I hadn't involved myself that much in the making of it, and so when it turned into something that I wasn't really that fond of, I only had myself to blame. But I did want to go off and make a record that was more guitar orientated.
Why has it been chosen as now to put out your greatest hits album?
Well, it was something the record company wanted to do last year, and they wanted to do the year before that. And we really had to try to explain to them that if the record, it's obviously an incredibly significant record in our history, and we felt that we needed to get away from the old idea of Duran Duran as being, you know, the five-piece, you know, the Three Tailors and the group that was. We really needed time to re-establish, or at least make a lengthier establishment of where we were now. And you know, it meant that, you know, 9 of the 12 songs, 4 of the 12 songs, or 4 of the 14 songs have been recorded by us since Andy and Roger left, and they're songs that I feel good about. You know, the last album, there was 2 top 10 hits, and Skin Trade, I think, is probably one of the best songs. So really, we were just playing for time, and I'm glad that it worked out that way, because now the title of the record makes sense.
What were the problems about making or compiling this decade album?
Well, it wasn't really that difficult. It was pretty obvious what was going to go on, and we kind of ran a little poll amongst some of the fans we were aware of and asked for their favourites. And we had little run-ins with the company over, you know, we wanted Skin Trade on, and they wanted New Moon on Monday or something, you know. But essentially, we kind of got what we wanted, and it was. It's something you want to distance yourself from, really. You don't want to be too involved in it, because it's not a good thing to get bogged down in the past.
Let's talk about the Wild Boys video, because that really was an extravaganza, wasn't it?
It caused a lot of dissent in the band, and it was responsible for a lot of problems.
Really?
Well, I mean, I felt the whole thing was fairly immoral, actually. And it kind of... We were also filming... we started with the Wild Boys, and I think we were also making Arena at the same time, which was like this live film with lots of effects in it and stuff. And the whole thing just became a money pit, you know.
Do you know how much it cost?
No.
No?
No. If I did, it's been wiped from the memory banks, you know.
I mean, Simon nearly drowned, didn't he?
Yeah, but he likes all that kind of stuff, you know. I mean, he loves it, you know. I think it was... yeah, it was at the point where things were getting a little excessive.